So this is Calicat the Calicatster, and we are going to use some elements of that California Divided story and the Clemens Road story. After all, we're going to use them as the script fodder for the landing on the zombie planet finale story of the other timeline. Apparently, this is going to be Starship Legacy. We did not solve that story arc. Go back and solve that story arc. And it's not like we could go back and just do what we've already done 3 times over with 3 different timelines. We've kind of done that 3 or 4 different times, kind of reset things in the multiverse. I have an idea, Mark's cards, and I discussed the idea yesterday. And yeah, if we use elements of that changed world thing premise as the premise, okay, they go to Cillian Earth, so we don't need as many sets. They have 1 ship in the story. Only need to use 1 ship. If they have other ships, the zombies are on the other ships. They've invaded Starfleet, and yeah, so it's like conspiracy, but they're not bluegills. The premise will be that the zombie virus thing that's making essentially them act like the undead. They're not technically zombies. They're more like Borg. They've been assimilated to the boredom virus. But they're more like Borg zombies. They're more like that. And they some of them are lascivious because they're the other ones, and it's sort of a mashup of all of the different timelines in the anti-time virus thing, which was unleashed when the timeline skewed, and the timeline skewed, they think, in 2406, when the 2406 other timeline happened. That's when it skewed into a tangent. It turns out it's actually earlier. They'll discover, or at least since it's anti-time and also time, it'll be, well, it's skewed earlier because it goes back in time, anti-time, it goes back or forward or whatever. So one of the junctions in the story is 2406, around the time of that Valentine's Day episode. So, but yeah, we're not saying it completely retcons out those stories that took place in 2405, 2406, and then the rumbly ones, which take place in 2413. They happen, they're just in a different timeline. They're go forward, that kind of thing, different timeline. The Q in that one wanted to destroy everybody because they were overlords. In this one, they want to stop the zombies, and it's a environmental problem on the planet, you see, in 2025. To them, it's only been 2 years since the other stories, and in some cases, it's only been, it's been 10 years for some of the other ones. But yeah, they're not going to deal with the timeline changing so much, which they kind of did where no one's gotten before, and skirted around it by going to Canary Space and Vanguard Space and now Warp Core Space to avoid dealing with the fact that their pocket universe, Elseworld timeline going on, which is funny. So, yeah. So the premise is that a bunch of them are kind of in the same continuum, but they're all together on the planet. Different versions of our heroes are together, including zombie versions, and they have to team together to find a way to either stop the virus and destroy the zombies, or stop the virus and cure them, so they wouldn't be zombies anymore. So yeah, there's the alien virus of the various bad guys has succeeded in taking over the Federation, and the one place in the universe that they can go to, where the apex of where it all began, is that sanctuary place they go to from that convention episode later. However, so they go back to that. So the Federation, basically, the gag in this one is that we've been watching a different timeline, obviously. So it's kind of funny the whole time since it skewed into the tangent. So the end of Starship Locations in 2405 with the Canary Space crossover episode was the end of that series. And Legacy was sort of its own thing, set several years later, kind of doing its own thing. only because the Picard show screwed up the timeline. The Picard show should have, yeah, they've addressed that, and as well as Lower Decks screwing up the timeline. But at least Lower Decks had the balls to go, okay, it's a multiverse, and there are different versions of us there, and the zombie things and whatever and all that. It's just it's a multiverse. Star Trek is a multiverse, and they're all in it. It just so happens that recently, as well, there's a very nonchalant mention in a magazine. And it's gone all over viral. They're not going to continue with the J.J. Abrams timeline. They're going to dump that, but there's still some of that left. There's still Strange New Worlds. That's still in that Academy story further on. Are they going to cancel those two in production? I don't know. I don't know that. They want to make another Star Trek movie, but they're beating around the bush and saying, should we just make it a different crew entirely? That's what I suggested, but I wasn't paid for it. But this could be something like that as well. Could we tell a exciting 2-hour adventure where all the timelines are kind of connected, similar to All Good Things, similar to a number of other episodes, where it's not that we have to deal with, there's different variations, different stuff like that. It's all the Legacy timeline. That's all it has been since Legacy was announced, the end of Picard, and actually the Starship Location Strange Worlds series began in 2401, 2402. Anyway, so it is also Legacy. So even before Legacy existed, 2 years ago, in 2023, 2023 to 2025, it's been 2 years, and to us, it's only been 2 years, and various other characters have come and gone. Various characters have done different things. One main central character in real life got married, moved away. So that threw off that timeline. That can't happen. Yeah, there was a number of wedding stories and other stories. There were a number of other stories. But yeah, they're don't need to worry about it. Just do a sci-fi story with the space zombies. Wrap up the zombie story arc. Anti-time thing, they gotta cure it. An audience watching it merely has to know they have to stop the zombies. There's your premise. Clint Cowpoke will be directing this one. And we will use elements of the divided colony that was originally called Battlefield California, the game. And we will use elements of the other Clemens Rogue stories, which became the other one, which were Clemens Vengeance and all that stuff. We will be using some elements of that, pieces of that fourth book we ended up not using. Fourth element we ended up not using. Part of book 2 of Spacetime I. But we don't need to necessarily credit Spacetime I, which will be coming out at the same time as this, because this is going to be easy to film quickly. And you'll see this and then the other one as well. So currently rendering the we go several passes over the video, chop out the gunks and then keep going. No bloopers. Then you put the other one together, and you put the next one together, and this one together. This one is, going to be more go motion, and it is the Legacy finale. Legacy started in 2407, allegedly. This one is before that. The incident of 2404 was a gag. That doesn't happen in this. I'll just tell you ahead of time. It doesn't happen in this. It was a gag. Very funny. The other stuff earlier, the Valorian saucer section mix-up thing, doesn't happen in this because that would have been later. So they crashed the Enterprise D back on another planet. There you go. Jordy crashed on another planet. Because it's later. The Sarah Esteban thing, does she come back as a zombie? I was thinking, if she come back as a zombie, that'd be cool. Probably not, because they cremated her. Shit. Yeah, they cremated somebody. They're not coming back as a zombie. That was the joke this morning. Cremated her. She's dead. There's characters that were based on other characters that have passed, so they can't be in the story. They're just not in the credits. The other stuff. Yeah, so there will be some fun stuff, some heartwarming stuff, some cool stuff as It's another card to the fans, greeting card to the fans. It's Thanksgiving coming up next week. And the end of the Starship Legacy story arc, because really the whole characters that were making this story arc work, so one of them left, who was the one that got married. The other one was the one was the one that was in on the joke about the masochism guy. And we don't really want to include him anyway, because, yeah, it's a little cringe, so we just won't. But not to say that his character wouldn't show up here as a zombie, probably. But, we'll see. Yeah, and Mako and Rios and all that. Yeah, because Picard Season 2 kind of left Rios on the planet. We've already kind of wrapped up all of the other arcs Picard series screwed up with Strange New Worlds and with our version of Strange Worlds and our version of Legacy. It's already wrapped that up, so we've already done all that. We've done the reveal of Bashir. We've done the reveal of Kiriyoshi being actually really the son of Kira and Bashir, because obviously he is. The ridiculous overthinking. We've done stuff like that. We've done the Mariner being revealed to have not known the Will Wheaton's character and Ceto's character and the others. She couldn't have as a cadet. She would have been a child. We've done that story. That was this season. We did that this season. Because, yeah, there was a way out of that Carno Planet episode. And that means that stuff doesn't exist. It means the Loom is having a good time eating things. They got that from Prodigy, the Loom. There's also an anti-Loom, and also they kind of combine the elements of these space-time eye vehicles they discover on that planet in the story. They are Iconian technology, which ties into TNG Season 1, which they had gateways like that. Well, they also had something similar in the classic Trek, The Guardian of Forever, which they also reference in Discovery. And where did they send that Mirror Universe lady to? Section 31 should have been in the Mirror Universe, really. The whole thing. It shouldn't have been our timeline. It should have been the Mirror timeline. Then it kind of makes sense. And then her Doomsday device wasn't real. It was a toy. but yeah, a piece of junk. It's like, I don't really have a universe-destroying weapon. It's a toy. Yeah. I did like that. I did reshoot the ending of the other story to make it makes the other story end, so that the ending didn't simply lead into what amounts to a cliffhanger for, we'll do more warp core later on. No, it actually ends. I made it definitively end with that new ending. You don't need to do the more warp cores. So yeah, let's do something. Let's do something. But first, I want to start rendering that. And you'll do some stuff. Kind of loosely following those stories, but only in the sense that, it's a post-apocalyptic planet thing. Our story opens apparently in the story's title credits premise before the events of Starship Legacy by about a year in 2406. It's been 3 years since the events of the other story, and it opens right around the time of the Valentine episode, apparently. But yeah, and that ties into all the other stuff later on in this other timeline. That kind of makes sense. Okay, we're gonna say, okay, those other here's where the timeline's skewed into the tangent. They go back and either fix it or don't. The other multiverse just exists when they get to the end. Yeah, they just exist. There's other Star Treks. There's all kinds of other Star Treks where things have happened elsewhere, because there's all kinds of Cillians, not just us. And probably one of the clues about this season is that we have a character named Vaught Duick, who was introduced into this story just for this season. She's been all throughout the zombie episodes and all throughout these 3 Warp Core episodes. I'm wondering, like, is she one of the Q? She's got to be like a Q, right? She's got to be something. It'd be kind of funny if she wasn't. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm just the red herring. Literally, that's what I am. I'm a red herring. But yeah, love letter to the fans. 59th anniversary of Star Trek. And who knows what they might do for the 60th next year. It better be good. Come on, guys. So, this is Calicat the Calicats journey on the set. The making of an episode that took 1 day. That is the zombie finale episode. and all I have to do is put it together. Thanksgiving Day, I'll put it together tomorrow. So yeah, you're looking at an episode that kind of was in the can. It had nothing to do with the remaining books of the story at all. Nothing whatsoever. It was completely different. So yeah, it turns out we didn't use anything from the books. We used some, yeah, it really didn't, it was kind of its own original thing. We just did our own thing. Didn't want to riff on the other 2 episodes that were briefly went over before going back to it doing this. Yeah, I didn't want to do that and have it be like that. Yeah, so this is Calicat, the Calicat story. You're going to be watching the making of on this story. It's a very short making of because the second half is basically just a continuation of the first, straight into the next one. Yeah, so we knew what we were going to do. We knew we were going to do it. It's improv, but it actually didn't want to crib the other stories, and we wanted to keep the timeline succinct, and found a way to do it. We did. Got a way to do it. So okay, some of the people from the other 2413 timeline returned to 2413. Some of those in the past timeline, 2403, they're in 2403. So if we don't know what happens with them, that leaves it open, up in the air. They fixed the timeline. It's yeah. And I like that Board Kestro was able to return and give Alexander the birthday present. Now, so even though I don't think was he born in November? Anyway, but yeah, I think he was. Halfway through season 2 next generation. Yeah, which makes it no sense when he showed up 2 years later and he goes clearly 4. But yeah, Klingon children age fast. Yes, there was some other the gags in there. We wrapped up. There was some other stuff that had to do with some of the TMS characters and the Anderson scene and the other one. That was funny. The connection between the Romulan later on, the theme, the connection, that was kind of cool. The whole, all the Kirks being the zombie guys, and then the later ones, so they actually defeat the arrest the Samolvita people at the end. And yeah, they used their space-time thing, which kind of hinted at the other 2 episodes. 3 episodes, I guess. Was there 3 zombie episodes or 2? The end of the 2, I guess. Yeah, and then a closure to Legacy. It ends Legacy. As we know it. So it ends the series as we know it. Until elsewhere, somewhere else there. When we continue the saga somewhere else. Different location, even. So we will see. Yeah, it's been fun in this location. There's going to be a different location. We'll see. Who knows? Yeah. The fan film series, yeah. There's no other specials or anything like that. This is the end of this other story. We'll download it. I'll put it together and download it. It should be interesting to see the cast and crew and their Cillian realms and stuff. And the characters, there's no post. There might be a post meeting thing. We'll see. The series ends here. Episode 14 ends the series, Legacy. If Paramount wants to pick it up and go like, we want to do that, let me know. Not Paramount. Skydance. Yeah. Well, we'll do another Star Trek. And I like the cameo that threw in there with the 7 and 9 at the end. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Not sure why I guess she just showed up because she figured, hey, sure. Just to indicate that the Federation is fine. And everybody turned into a zombie at the end. They were basically screwed. They kept saying the universe is screwed. Yeah. So in the end, we come to an incredible legend. Probably have an Adamacon convention, but no New Year's special. Really, the incredible legend draws near. Legacy was fun. We we figured a way around that goofy time travel party story with this one. This one seems to indicate that, okay, there's an anti-time explosion thing that happened in the past, but they have to stop it in the future. So they go to the future, and that's how they stop it. It goes back in time, stops it. Anti-time. We don't know how far in the future they went. Didn't say. But it was 2406 in the credits. A little bit in the future. Somewhere in between the two events. Yeah. We didn't get to see the incident of 2404 because that was kind of a joke. I'll see that. This is another timeline. And it's multiverse, so it's cool. And yeah, brought back some people. Had some people leave. They'll come back. And they finally got everything they needed. So, and wanted. So yeah. Everybody got a thing. End of the zombie episode. But yeah, I also had some fun sibling legacy stuff going on. Worf and Alexander and some other characters. Yeah, so didn't do anything with Janoli, but I thought that kind of did that last episode, so I didn't need to. It's fine. Nothing that I regret doing incorrectly. I think it all works. So enjoy this episode. I know this is a short making of, but it was a short all day thing. I rendered and saved the other version while this was going on. While we're still rendering and saving the other version for the zombie story. Watched the zombie story, then went over that one. Actually, I watched Space-Time Eye story, third one, and then edited it and then downloading it all day. So I thought, well, it's downloading all day, I'll just do the other story. And I didn't think I'd get through it, but I did. I got through it in a day, and it is awesome. And yeah, so it's now after 9. So we're going to end for the evening, that night. Yeah, there's no, yeah. And live long and prosper.